Welcome to the Apex eSports League V8 Supercars Bathurst Challenge for Project Cars 2 on the PS4. So tonight we are starting a 3-round series just solely at Bathurst for the lead up to the actual Bathurst 1000. So we'll be doing 3 rounds at the track, all with different conditions, just to see who can actually conquer the mountain over the course of the series. We've got a nice lineup of drivers tonight. We've got 2 races ahead. So far we will have a practice session which we'll head off into just in a moment for 15 minutes. Weather is clear. We have a qualifying session for 15 minutes, weather clear. The sprint race is 10 laps with weather light cloud, no mandatory pit. And then we have a 7-minute break, and then we'll head off into a 15-minute qualifier, followed by the main race of 17 laps with weather medium cloud to light cloud with a mandatory pit. So pit strategy being a must to secure the win. So we'll quickly have a look at the tracks. As you can see, the length is 6.2 kilometres with 23 turns. And as you would all mostly know, Bathurst like the back of your hand. It is the great race of Australia, and also quite well known for all the endurance racing that occurs here. And we have a couple new drivers, I think, with us tonight that has not driven before. So 0143 is a new arrival to the Apex eSports League, so his debut is with us tonight. And if you have been catching in for our streams, you will recognise some other names on the field. So we have Gitto23, he's not yet out on the track. Well, and someone has just dropped out. Not sure who has dropped out. And you would be familiar with Corby387. In car number 13, Mr. D-Train came aboard for our Ferrari series just last week. We have Darkside here. Remember him from our last Apex ESL V8 Supercars Championship. He has returned to race with us again in another V8 series. Mersey Blue is a familiar face amongst our Apex series. Saw Mersey take a podium position in the Ferrari 488 Challenge last week. Bertie 1035, a regular with us as well. And also Skiddy 14. Over to Psychogency, also a regular driver with the league. And we've got Rojo Gresh. Trying to figure out who we may have lost. We've just had Corby invalidate his first lap for exceeding track limits. If you are joining us for the stream, be sure to use the chat function to communicate with me. Let me know who you think is going to take pole position, who's going to win the race. There's also sound functions below where you can control some of the sound over the broadcast, so you can do different sound effects, cheer, boo drivers as you see fit. And Psycho going flat out up Mountain Straight. drivers are very, very fast, capable drivers throughout all of our different series that we have ran. And most of these drivers we did actually have in our V8 Supercars series before, all performing very well and setting very good, consistent, fast times at Bathurst. It'll be very interesting to see how it goes. I'll figure out who it was that dropped out. We did have 11 on the field. First times coming on the board. Some very quick times indeed for the first opening times. 204's Darksider coming in for 202. Quickest time so far is Darksider 6789, 202.306. So it looks like we've lost a 0143, that's who had dropped out. So our debut driver with the series fight, hopefully he can join back in. Mr. D-Train Barbados setting the second fastest time so far, 2 seconds off pace from Darksider. And it is custom setups allowed for this series. And the layout for the idea of these 3 races is that the drivers will have a variety. Oh no, Zero is here. We haven't lost him. Yes, the drivers will see a variety of conditions that is set out as a track day, so we'll have game time progress throughout tonight's session. We have had someone drop out, we did have 10. And Skiddy's come in just under a second off Darksider's time. Oh, and Psycho's just squeezed that in as well. 0.4 of a second off now. Very tight time indeed. Current game time is 9 o'clock in the morning. The season is spring. Track temperatures won't be too hot. So the drivers most likely would be using soft slicks. However, as the sessions go on, the game time does change. With the sprint race starting at simulated time of 11 o'clock in the morning. And then the race set for early afternoon, with track temperatures most likely set to go up, so the drivers will definitely be able to look at opting out for a harder compound for the tyres. Try and get that tyres to last a lot longer in the longer race. It is 17 laps. And Mr. D-Train coming in just marginally quicker than Darksider. Not much between the drivers in the field so far. Our first 7 cars, and we've just got some back in. Looks like we lost Gitto. Oh, someone's having some technical issues. Yes, looks like Gitto is having some technical issues. Drivers yet to set a time on the board is Bertie and Corby. Looks like Psycho trying to work out who else. It's a 0, tucking in behind Rojo Gresh. Mr. D-Train bringing the car into the pits. Oh, Darksider losing it off over Sky. No, that's a Hell Corner by the looks of things. Yes, Hell Corner. Not taking any damage. Throwing a bit of sand out onto that corner. Mersey Blue looks to have taken some damage, moving the car over. Not sure if that's from previous. Looks like Gitto has rejoined back in. If you're joining us for the stream, there are links down below. You can't actually link off from them, but they are the addresses to our pages. If you want to get involved in any of our racing, you can head to our Facebook group and become one of our members. And that way you can see what events we have set out. You can get involved in any of the racing. Otherwise, you can head to our Facebook page, which is down the bottom of that screen. Don't need to be a member for it. That just allows you to see all results and standings of any of the series that are going, and any racing discussions can take place there as well. And then we've got, of course, on our Twitch, you can click that follow button. It'd be great if you can follow. You get notifications when we go live of any events, and then also our YouTube page. So all our races, after they have been streamed, will be saved over to YouTube, as Twitch doesn't allow our broadcast to stay active. Oh, and Rojo getting quite broad going up through the mountain, bringing that car back in. I'll check our weather conditions for next week events, as I believe we will be having a wet race. So over the next 2 weeks we'll have 2 more rounds. Hopefully all our drivers will be able to withstand the different track conditions. Our main event will be raining midway through the race at some stage, so drivers will have to be able to tackle the mountain in wet conditions as well. And then in our final round, we'll actually be having a shootout qualifier, so drivers will only have 1 lap to set in a time. Be much the same as the top 10 shootout, but it will be open to all drivers. It will be very interesting just to see how differently all our drivers perform by doing that shootout qualifier for that final round, and that will be a longer race. There'll only be 1 race for that. We have 2 races for tonight and 2 races for next Tuesday's event. Corby's car looking bruised and battered. You can see some speckles around Hill Corner where we saw what looked like Rojo Gresh go off into the kitty litter. And the race feed is getting quite a fair few cars having their lap times invalidated. They're exceeding the track limits. They're pushing these cars to the very limits of the track. It's been a nice little jump as he comes over the crest down into the dipper. Running wide, nice line. And practice session is complete. 140 seconds for drivers to get last laps in. First three drivers setting 202s. Corby getting a time in on the board. A little bit off par, waiting for Gito to set a time. He hasn't exceeded limits. Into the chase. Last turn. Nice line. Let's see how he goes for it. 209. 4 cars still out on the track. Roy is disconnected then. And there we are, our 15-minute practice with Mr. D-Train Barbado having fastest time 202. Darksider coming in very close behind 202.167, and Psychogency also in the 202s. It'll be very tight times for the qualifying from the looks of what the practice has done. So we head off into our 15 minutes of qualifying. Drivers quickly getting out. Side by side in the pits. Mr. D-Train first out onto the track. Crackle as he heads up into the mountain. Now he's taking it easy, trying to get some heat into these tyres. A bit of lag going on. Now we've had another driver join us. Fritz Skinner. He's new to the league. One of the drivers must have invited him in. That is good to have you aboard. I did just see your friend request come through. I can't actually accept that while I'm doing the broadcast or shoot out invites to the events. I'm glad that the other drivers were able to help you out. Oh, some big contact. There's lag going on there though. That's Gito, we saw him having some disconnection issues earlier. You can see him warping in and out of the walls and trees, and some significant damage showing to his car. I'm not sure if that is genuine or not. If his car had taken that much damage on this first lap, it would have been advisable to return to pits. See how he goes now. Weaving about, getting ready for this hot lap. Yet to head out onto the track. But we're almost close to a full grid. Will be some very intense action for these races. I think we could possibly see a 201 be set in the qualifying, with the very low 202s that we're seeing from our top three. And someone has dropped out. Looks like it was Bertie. He seems to be having some connection issues. He can get back in time. It should be fine for him to be able to get a time on the board for the race. Oh, very close to that wall. And again, comes along the top of the mountain now into the skyline. Very quick. And shift into third. Ready for the dipper. I think he's rolling through in third. No, he did do it in second, that was good. Jump on board with Psycho. Gitto is back, so Gitto having some technical issues. Yes, so we have seen a 201. Schizophrenia also having some issues. Heavy braking into the chase. A little bit broad. Flat foot coming out of the chase. Very late over to that outside area. Right up on that curb. A little bit slow through that corner. Puts himself up into fourth position. Over to Dark Side of 6789, setting a 201.190. With a pace like that, we could definitely see him break a 2 minute. Oh, wall contact. That corner there, it is go hard or go home. You've got to get that mirror as close to that wall as you can to get that nice fast line. A wall scrape isn't too bad, as long as it doesn't put you offline for the next turn. For the game, you can take several wall side hits like he did going up through there ready for Skyline without it actually doing any performance impact to the car. But after a few hits, it will start actually having a bit of performance impacting effect. Mr. D-Train just under the 202 mark. I think he betters his time here. He has a 2 minute .480. That is flying around the track. Bertie, Fritz-Skenia, Gitto and Rojo Gresh yet to set a time on the board. Bertie's in the pits. He was having some connection issues. Oh, we've got some weird things going on there by the looks of Gitto. His car is ghosting. And Fritz-Skenia just brought that car into the pits. His car is showing damage, however, when they bring the cars back in, it doesn't refresh the visual damage all the time. G'day Weaven, thanks for joining us. He's sad we couldn't have you join in for the race tonight. Yes, so making contact with the wall usually will invalidate the time. So any going off track or making wall contact will invalidate their time. And then that is also up for bonus points as well. So drivers receive points for the championship for qualifying, and then they also, in each race, the fastest lap of each race receives 5 bonus points as well. We're getting spam messages in the chat as well. That's fantastic. For those of you joining us in the chat and the stream, let us know who you think is going to take away the pole position and possibly the race win for our first race of tonight. And you can play those sound effects down underneath the stream as well in those little control boxes. Cheer on drivers. I can't hear the audio, but I can actually see what's going on. Getting about to cross the line and see if he's improved his time at 2:02.938. No, not improving there. Race feed isn't giving any updates as to who's exceeding track limits. Yeah, D-Train, I definitely think will take pole for this. That is a very solid time to try and beat. Yes, they've got custom setups for these. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with choosing tyre compounds and setups for it. So most likely a lot of them would be running a qualifying setup as well. They can get away with closing up a lot of the cooling ducts for the aero, get that little bit of extra speed out of the car. Getting rather broad, going up the mountain. Nice line going through Skyline and to the S's. Ooh, big lock up, nice and tight coming down in through the dipper. Oh, he's nearly lost it. That could have ended very badly for him. He's pushing that car is rather flighty. He's probably got quite a low fuel load running on that at the moment. I'll go on board with Fritz Scania. He's driving it like he stole it at the moment. Almost 290 topping out, heading down into the chase, heavy brakes. Nice and light, flat foot. He's set for a nice time here. That rear tail very light. 2:02.890. Very nice time indeed. We've got just under 3 minutes remaining. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of good driving skill here. Everyone doing very well on the mountain so far. Gitto having some definite technical issues. In practice he dropped in and out a few times. At the start of qualifying session his car was jumping all over the place, which is why his car looks like it is, as we did see him walk through a wall and into the trees and the likes. Gitto needing to get a time on the board. Nice line, sounds like someone's gone off over in the corner, not affecting Gitto. Not sure whose car that is, I haven't familiarised myself with all the different liveries so far. Oh, it's cost him some time. That will get him on the board. I don't think he's exceeded the limit. Yes, it's got him a time on the board, so that costing him slightly. Right, so Mr. D-Train's brought the car into the pits. There's 45 seconds remaining. And a very consistent time throughout, so our top two with 2-minute times. And the dark side, I just improved that. It's only just 0.044 of a second off Mr. D-Train's. Darkside not deciding to go around. Perhaps he's out of fuel as well. He could have had enough time to get around for another lap. And Corby messing that up there. That's unfortunate for him. So our top two in the 2-minute marks. Our third position through to 7th in the 202s. And then we have a 0 in a just under 204, Mersey Blue a 205, and Bertie and Gitto having some issues with dropping in and out. Oh, that's just cost Skiddy, so his time will not count for this, so we can't improve it this lap around. Psycho not improving his time. He's now, that would be an AI taking over the car, I would assume. I don't think he's going to have a chance to get another lap in. Skinia still with an opportunity to improve his time. Flat out into this corner. Nice line. A little bit broad. Very quick through there. Can he beat the 202.890? No, doesn't improve. Rojo Gresh, yes, that would have just cost him that last lap, so done and dusted for the qualifier. We see, starting from pole position, Mr. D-Train Barbado, followed in the grid is Darksider 6789, Corby 387, Skiddy 14, Psychogency in 5th, Fritz Skinner, Rojo Gresh 0143, Mersey Blue, Bertie 1035, and Gitto 23. At the back, that is some very tight times throughout there. Sector times are very on par for most of it. Sector 2 and Sector 3, possibly the two sections that a lot of drivers can possibly make up some time. So we'll be heading off into the race now. Drivers will have a couple of minutes to adjust their setups, so they can reload from any custom setups that they had solely for the qualifier, and also adjust their pit strategies. You can see the cars dipping down as they're loading different setups. Drivers will need to hit the ready button before the countdown to make sure that they actually proceed with the race, otherwise we'll see them disqualified and off into the pits. But once all drivers have hit ready, it will actually head over straight in and start the race. So we are moments away from getting this underway. Mr. D-Train starting from the inside. He will need to get a good jump at the start to make sure he gets ahead of Darksider to own that track position through Hell Corner. Hopefully not too much chaos. The corner is named appropriately for the carnage that usually ensues from that corner. Drivers frantically dash to try and maintain a position off the start. They do need to remember you don't always win a race on the first corner. So here we go, drivers are all hit ready. Don't think we have lost anyone. We may have lost one car by the looks. And it's Marine, off we go. A good start so far for the Darksider and Mr. D-Train. Mr. D-Train owning that track position. Darksider slightly running wide. We've got a few cars going off. Doesn't look like contact has been made. D-Train getting away rather quickly. Very wide line going through the corner. A lot of speed by Mr. D-Train. Oh, a bit of wall contact by Darksider as he comes up through the cutting. That's allowed D-Train to get away a little bit more. Psychogency and Darksider fighting side by side. Let's put Psycho up slightly off his right driving line. He seems to have recouped himself a little bit. Mr. D-Train has received a penalty. Not sure if it's a slowdown for exceeding or if he may have jumped at the start. And we get the red indicator on his current track position. Oh, and there's wall contact. That's cost him maybe 1-2 positions. He's nudging over ever so close to Psycho. Psycho keeping off distance. One of them are going to have to give way. Playing chicken down Conrod Straight. Oh, slightly offline for Psycho, not being able to get in on that, but manages to get that back in. Heavy brakes into the chase. Manages to recover much quicker though in the end, having an opportunity to get past Darksider. Rojo Aggression, Psycho having a bit of rub coming onto pit straight. Want to try and find out what that penalty is that D-Train has received. Oh, and the sign has gone off. I'm not sure who that is. It is Darksider. After that good start to the race, he's now fallen back to 8th position. Rojo Gresh and Psycho. Oh, Psycho just bringing that car in, making contact with... Oh, big carnage there. Psycho has collided with Fritz Iskenya. Looks like he was nudged and he pushed into him. Psycho's car not looking real good. Significant damage done to Fritz Iskenya's car. Most likely going to have to bring that into the pits. D-Train starting to catch back up on Rojo Gresh. So that spill back with Psychogency, giving him opportunity to move back through. Corby also taking up 3rd place. There may be an opportunity here for D-Train to make a move on him. Slipstream advantage here as he flies down Conrod. Definite speed advantage. We're seeing cars top out around the 290 mark, but then he's going to have to be harder on the brakes coming down into the chase. However, Rojo Gresh gets away a little bit coming out of the chase, now putting 0.6 of a second difference. Both drivers pretty on par in the qualifying session for sectors. I'm not getting individual sector time feeds. Here we go, Mr. D-Train making a move. He is on the outside. He's not going to be in a favourable position to try and make this corner. He does tuck it in time just in front of Rojo Gresh. As he holds a nice tidy line coming up through. Yes, he does. Penalty also given to a 0. Ooh, Rojo locking up, coming up to the cutting. It's given a bit of a time advantage to Mr. D-Train. And we have a brief moment. I'll bring up the timings, see what's happened. So D-Train and a 0 received slowdown penalties that they ignored. So given a 1 second time penalty, that should be fine over the course of the race. So we're 3 laps in of the 10. So definitely putting some pace over Rojo for sure. We have a 0 and Psychogency starting to hone in on each other here. 0 being a newcomer to Apex Esports League, we welcome you to the league. His last lap being a 2:07, Psycho's last lap at 2:11. That was with him making significant contact with Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, sorry, not Schizophrenia. 0 may be able to make a move on Psycho. Psycho definitely would be having some aero damage from the look of his car. Possibly some suspension damage to that front right as well, as that was where he made the hard contact into Fritz's Spenia. It's a 0 making an inside pass here. Definitely has a speed advantage over him significantly. Psycho having significant aero damage to that car, definitely will not have the pace that he was first off. Rest of the field starting to split up. Psycho not wanting to give up just yet. He's going to have to use the slipstream advantage to make up for that aero damage to the front of his car. Making slight wall contact there. Oh, heavy wall contact, and also behind as well by Darksider. Yes, Psycho's car looking very bruised and battered on that right side. Oh no, and a 0 has gone off at the S's. Can he get that round in time? Skiddy and Darksider narrowly avoid having heavy contact. Fritziskennia quickly coming up behind a 0 now. And a 0 also battling with a wounded car. No mandatory pit stop for this race. The second race of tonight, there is a mandatory pit, and that's with the 17 laps. It'll be interesting just to see what pit strategies they decide to do. They don't actually have to have anything done during the pit. They don't have to change tyres, make a change, add fuel or any of the likes. They can do a stop and go. As his blue car is not looking well as could have been. Also mixed up in that bingle with Fritz Iskenia and Psycho. Yes, any pit stop for this sprint race will definitely see the drivers finish towards the back of the field, especially for any of the repairs. It is better to possibly just go on with the wounded car and secure a semi-strong position. Oh, Darksider making more contact again. And our race leader, Mr. D-Train, now puts a 5-second lead over second place Rojo Gresh. That's Skitty tucking in right behind Darksider at the moment. Oh, that looks like Psycho making more contact again. Darksider definitely has an advantage of being able to make a pass potentially down Conrad. Psycho's car not going to be up to scratch for getting a nice speed. We're 5 laps in, halfway through. Nice pass. The chase slightly off track. He's probably been given a slowdown. He doesn't want to get too much torque under wraps with the tyres off track, and then goes Psycho to the pits. Struggling with that car, and it is manual pits. The drivers have to make sure that they do enter the pits at 60 k's, otherwise they will suffer a heavy time penalty and possibly a disqualification. So Skitty making a pass on Darksider. Darksider having advantage of the outside of the corner. Darksider tucking back in over Skitty. Skitty with a rather tidy looking car. He will have an advantage over Darksider at this stage. And Fritz Iskenia looking at making a move. G'day Gallon, thanks for joining us. Not sure. Oh, heavy contact by Fritz Iskenia. The Psycho's now moved to the back of the field. He's just finished his pit stop. That front bar on Fritz Iskenia's car is flapping wildly, missing bonnet. That was from the hard hit that he had from Psycho's car. That was after the Mountain Straight corner. Check out Gitto. We did see him with some latency issues earlier on in practice and qualifying. Things seem to be going a lot better for him now. D-Train now on the 7th lap. He's now put 8 seconds over second place. I think this race could definitely be a win for him. Once we wrap up our Ferrari series, we'll do V8 Supercar series 5 rounds for the Thursdays. So yeah, you'll be able to get it back in on the V8 Supercars again very quickly. We have Corby 387 quickly catching up to Rojo Gresh as well. over the curb a fair bit in the S's. A few cars starting to separate in the field. Still have Fritz Eskenia and Mersey Blue contesting. It looks like Corby has really caught up on Rojo. It'd be nice if I was getting some correct sector times coming through, just to see the differences between Rojo Gresh and Corby. As closes in on him, but then starts to get away again. Franciscania and Mersey Blue keeping that 1 second distance apart, neither having an advantage over anything just yet. We have Darksider catching back up on Skiddy. Alright, some hard contact made by Darksider. We'll have a look for a fastest lap. Currently, fastest lap is going to Mr. D-Train, a 2:02. His last lap, a 2:04. Rojo Gresh behind him, his last lap at 2:09, so that's why he's now showing a 16-second lead over him. Consistency currently for D-Train is on par, unless a mistake happens. It'd have to be a significant one. He does have that 15 seconds to be able to bring the car back on track. He's on lap 9. 1 second time penalty that he has won't affect his position whatsoever if he keeps this distance over second place. And you saw, looks like, I'm not sure who's heading into the pits, maybe Skiddy. Yes, Skiddy's heading to the pits. With Rojo Gresh going up over it and he's flashing lights, not sure what he's doing. Maybe giving the indication for Corby to go ahead. I'm going to say D-Train may just only drive this in qualifying set to 2 minutes. So almost breaking the 2 minute mark as well. It was a very quick time indeed. Did lose the lead temporarily. Rojo did get ahead. And Darksider as well. And Mersey Blue all closing in on each other here. Maiko's back in the pits again. He's obviously taken some more damage. Did set some very fast times in practice and qualifying. Oh, narrowly just spins out in front of Fritz Eskenia. Luckily he made rear contact to that tyre wall. Car should be fine to be able to survive the last couple of laps. Zero and Fritz Kenya being our debut races with Apex Esports League. And some fantastic driving coming out of them. It's a pleasure to have you aboard. Yeah, I was going to say you may need to downgrade his sim rig. Lap 10. Drivers are all reasonably spaced out now. We'll jump on board with D-Train. So his last lap was a 206.516, best is a 202. He currently has fastest lap. Oh, someone's just disconnected. Birdie 1035 is disconnected. He's rejoined the session. And I won't land him any points for the race, unfortunately. As you can see on the track, Conrod Straight, there is a yellow flag. Yeah, definitely no endorsements for that. Yes, I'm not sure whose car's over to the side from Conrad. I think that may be Skiddy. Yes, Skiddy's just having a chill there. So over to Mr. D-Train finishing his last lap. We see a victory burnout. He's got 19 seconds. Nice and easy over the line. Race is finished. Congratulations, Mr. D-Train Barbado, taking first place in the sprint race. First race in round 1. Here comes Corby. No Arnott sponsorship yet. I can't remember who it is that said they worked with Arnott, so I've got to talk to some bosses there. Corby crossing the line in second, Rojo in third, Darksider in fourth. Mersey Blue, 120 seconds left to finish up last laps. Well done, Mersey Blue, taking 5th position. Zero coming in not far behind in 6th. Princess Kenya coming up into 7th position. Well done on your debut race with us. Hito 23 finishing in 8th. Psycho, we saw enter pits twice for this. Recovering with Skiddy just chilling on the side of Conrad. So I have to wait for the countdown to go unless he can get that car across the line. Yes, definitely our new drivers. Get them involved in the Ferrari 488 Challenge Series. It'll be a lot of fun. Here comes Psychogency finishing in 9th. We've just got Skiddy yet to cross the line. So we'll be having to wait for those 25 seconds to do it. Looks like Mr. D-Train's AI doing a AI lap. There we are, first race for round 1 completed. Seeing Mr. D-Train do a spectacular drive, taking the win on the top of the podium there for first place, also taking the fastest lap with a 202.680. Also on the podium is Corby 387 in second and Rojo Gresh in third. Some very good times throughout the field. Looking back down through all there, Skitty not being able to finish the race. Not sure what happened to him there, but we'll be heading off for a 7-minute break. So drivers will have a quick break while we set up for the next session. So we'll be returning approximately 8:38 Australian Eastern Standard Time. So we shall see very shortly. So stay tuned and we will be back. And we are back for the second session for round one. So, for Skiddy sitting on the side of the track down Conrod, he ran out of fuel, which is why he just sat there and waited out instead of retiring off. I'll be heading over into a 15-minute practice, sorry, not practice, qualifying. Doing some multitasking there going. And just in the lobby, drivers discussing pitch strategies. Trying to decide what tyre layouts they should have. Whether they just opt out certain tyres for a harder compound for those ones that are getting scrubbed quite heavily in the corners. Keep the remainders as soft. So Rojo Gresh doing some quite aggressive weaving, getting some heat into those tyres. Nice, that'll be alright. And we're going to be doing a test run for some iRacing this Saturday night as well. We may incorporate iRacing series for the Tuesday nights. For those joining us with the stream, jump into the chat, let us know who you think's going to take pole position for this qualifying. And Mr. D Train aim for a clean sweep. He's done so for the first race of tonight's round. Oh, and someone's made contact, not sure who's. I think that may be Fritz Scania, yes. Yeah, bring that car in, quickly get it back out. Yeah, so taking a fair bit of damage there at Forest Elbow. So he's now back out with a fresh car. Oh, we've just had someone disconnect. I can recommend Cataclysm Computers. They did an amazing machine for me and quite affordable as well. And you could always maybe try and weasel perhaps a tax deduction for the gaming PC as well if you're looking at trying to create a iRacing eSports career. Could definitely possibly pass that off under the tax man as a tax deduction. Or you might have to be able to look up some pay slips off the same sheet just every now and then, so at least you can get a percentage of it. Okay, looking rather tidy at the moment for cold tyres. Oh, a little bit of lag. Looked like a zero. That was Gitto 23 or Bertie. Perhaps that was having a disconnect issue. I did see both of them having connection issues before. Must have been Bertie that rejoined. Looks like Gitto brought that car back in. Some got a report on the race feed that he did exceed track limits, so he may have run off and nearly getting up on two wheels. Yes, Verti's just dropped out again. Looks like D-Train going past. Like setting a 2:03 for his cold lap. That's not bad. D-Train coming in for 2:04. If you're looking at gaming machines, I went the Avalanche with Cataclysm computers. I think it may have been around the $1,400 mark, and it runs iRacing on high, and it's well suited for streaming as well. It can handle some pretty intense load, and it's all liquid cooled as well, so it's an amazing thing to use. Whoa, some broad slide going up the mountain for D-Train. Darksiders come in with a 2:02, Corby a 2:02. Hey, TV Cheese, thanks for joining the stream. Those of you joining us, be sure to comment who you think is going to take pole position and the race win. Session 1 of tonight, we saw Mr. D-Train Barbado take pole, win and fastest lap, so a clean sweep so far. And down below we do have the sound controls. You can play sounds over the stream. You guys will be able to hear it and other viewers. Sacrifices you got to make to do the racing, gal. That's what it is. Tycho coming for 2:01. Very respectable time already. Saw Darksider start from position 2 in the sprint race. He has improved his time. He had a 2:02 for his cold lap. He's going to bring that in. He's pretty impressed with that. We did see D-Train set a 2-minute almost flat. Corby's coming with a 2:01. So back into the pits. Doesn't help. It's just going to show some damage to that car. Very quick down through the S's. A lot of speed as he goes down that dipper. Narrowly avoiding that wall. Very quick through Forest Elbow. Flat foot already on the way out. This is going to be a quick lap for him. You'll also have a slipstream advantage here. And that buckled bonnet. He has rejoined. He's got 6 minutes to try and get a time on the board. Heavy lock up by the car in front. I'm not sure if that's Rojo Gresh. Oh, big crackle line for this in his car. Nice line, still slipstream advantage. Definitely will improve here. No, just marginally off. Rojo Gresh did go off and brought that car back in. D-Train's back out. Psycho currently holding pole position, but only just. Bertie's dropped out again. Going to be hard for a time to be beaten here. It is a different game time and different weather conditions as it was before. Our qualifying was 10 o'clock in the morning with weather clear in the first session. Currently it is 1 o'clock in the afternoon with weather medium cloud. We'll be having some slightly cooler track temperatures potentially. It's rather shadowy. Maybe pushing to get a 2 minute. Still time for the train to be able to get the pole position. Rojo's off on the side there. Maybe allowing some traffic to go through. Catch back up and possibly use those cars up ahead for a slipstream advantage. Try and shave off a little bit of time. All drivers have a time on the board. Azzy Blue showing some battle scars. I think this will definitely should be an improvement for him, hopefully. Yes, that's brought him up to a 2:04. So we've got 6 seconds separating the field. 1 to 9 is only 3 seconds. It is very tight. That's a 17 lap race with mandatory pit. Pit strategy playing a significant part in securing a victory here on the mountain. Dark Side tailing in behind Skiddy there. Oh, the car up on 2 wheels, unfortunate. Diving that into, I don't know if he's made contact. He must have, he's brought that car in. Oh, sorry, that may have been Corby's tucked in behind. He's in the other blue car, just want to see what number he is. So he's number 14, Corby 13. It's in the team colours. Not yet familiarised myself with all the colours of the cars just yet. Oh, wall contact with Corby. I don't think it's invalidated his time. He's very lucky. Nice and broad. Nice line through Forest. Oh, up on 2 and that heavy contact. That's going to have done some significant damage in Forest elbow. Do some doughies, get those tyres hot. Oh, he's not going to have time to get around to get a lap in, unfortunately. There's only a minute 20 remaining. Scania setting a 2:01.939. A little bit of difference in the qualifying here compared to the first session. Scrapes to that right side of Skiddy's car. 50 seconds remain for qualifying.
A few moments later.
Look at the times here between Skiddy and Rojo Gresh. 2:03.333 and a 2:03.338. There's not much between the two. Then we look at 4th and 5th, Mr. D-Train Fritz, a 2:01.883 and 2:01.939. And also Corby, a 2:01.845. That is very tight. Then Psycho and Darksider, 201, 231 and a 201, 309. That is very tight indeed. So qualifying now complete. Last laps under wraps. These drivers should get a lap in. This will be Mersey Blue's last lap. Gitto may have time to get one more lap in. Can Mersey Blue improve on his 204? Needs to shave off a second to be able to jump up ahead of Rojo Gresh. I think he can do it. Oh, he has beat his time, but not enough. Fritz is going to try and improve his time. We've got 80 seconds remaining. Oh, unfortunate there. I wonder if he's just run out of fuel there potentially. Okay, and that is qualifying done. Psychogency starts at the front, taking pole position with a 201, 231. Very nice time indeed there. So also starting from the front of the field, Darksider 6789 in second, Corby 387 in third. It will be very tight indeed. So we have only 5 seconds separating the field from first to 10th. That is going to be very tight. So we'll be heading over into the race ready stage now. Drivers now having 2 minutes to prepare their cars for this 17 lap race. And there is a mandatory pit. And we are a driver down. Looks like Bertie didn't make it through, having some disconnect issues. Unfortunate for Bertie. Drivers need to make sure they've got a pit strategy set. Yes, that definitely cost you your race in that first race on the Ferrari Series Gal with that jump start. Common problem with this game is the game reverting to other setups and also resetting your pit strategy that you previously selected, so you've got to double check all that. Make sure you've got correct fuel loads ready for the race. We did see Skiddy at the end of that first race running out of fuel and having to park the car on Conrod. I think it's going to be a very tight first couple of laps for this race. Drivers are ready. Wait for the game to sink and then we'll be ready to head off. Oh, it looks like Gitto nudging at the back there. Oh, a bit of a delayed start by Psycho and Darksider, allowing Mr. D-Train to try and take some move. Oh, we've just had Skiddy and Corby making contact as they fought for track position. Oh, some more contact. Looks like Azura and Gitto and Mersey Blue making contact at the back of the field. Doesn't look like too much has happened to them, so they have recovered nicely. The back in file. Darksider has taken the lead. Oh, and we've just had Mr. D-Train, I think, go off. Yes, a significant accident. If we can get a cameraman to catch up. Hello. He's obviously on smoko break at the time. Oh, a bit of a lock-up by Psycho. It's gone offline. That's allowed Darksider to climb ahead. Roar of these V8s as we come across the top of the mountain. Oh, and there is Corby right up hot on the tail of Psycho coming into the S's. No margin for error coming into the dipper. Psycho's car showing a lot of damage already. Darkside getting ahead of the rest of them at the moment. Nice line into the chase. Ooh, and Psycho running wide on the chase. Will cost him some time and possibly be facing a slowdown for that as well. Looks like, yes, he's slowed down, allowing Corby to get ahead. And now Rojagresh hot on his tail as well, looking to make an inside move on Hill Corner. Ooh, a bit of contact side by side. They're stuck together. Bit of push and shove as they come up onto Mountain Straight. Psycho not looking to tuck in. Oh, he's just moved in just in time. Faster line come. Oh, and Psycho's made some heavy wall contact that's going to hurt him in the long run. Definitely having some performance issues with the car. The car did not want to turn into the cutting. Rojagresh also offline. 2 heavy hits to the wall. Looks like that front right's got some damage to it. Definitely some suspension damage going to that car. Oh, up on the tube. Oh, narrowly avoiding contact with Psycho as he goes past. Corby as well, he's recovered the car. That's going to be some significant handling issues for that car at the moment. Psycho definitely feeling the breeze as he spun out on that corner. I think Psycho needs to get that car in as soon as possible. Use this as his mandatory pit. If he's got hards, he can definitely get through on a set of tyres for sure. He's losing a lot of speed. He needs to get this car through the chase. Peach that left side. Slightly put Skiddy offline. We see him dive into the pits. Yes, in he goes. Won't be too much advantage. Hit those brakes, Psycho, before going in, or it'll be a DQ. I don't think he's copped a penalty. He has copped a speeding penalty. Let's see how bad a penalty that is. 10 seconds, at least it's not a DQ. Rojagresh also into the pits. Darkside are now 6 seconds ahead on Corby. 0-1-4-3 starting to close in on Skiddy's car. Tailing in on Mountain Straight. Starting to slip away. Skiddy starting to put a bit of space between him and a Zero. Psycho back out of the pits. Rodriguez has just exited the pits. At least they have served their mandatories. We have Mr. D-Train. We saw a spin out early on. Going to be trying to make a move on Mersey Blue.
Ha! Got him!
See a Zero just up ahead as well. Should be able to see D-Train get over the 290 mark here, hopefully, unless he has been taking some damage. No, car seems to be on par. Heavy brakes, you've got to get that car nice and straight entering into the chase. If that car is slightly off on an angle, you will spin out in the chase. Darted off to look for an inside move on the last corner. A little bit offline, but he brought that in just in time. Ooh, a little bit broad. Mersey Blue starting to get slip away just a little bit. We have a 0 honing in on Skiddy. He trying to keep that pace just enough to keep ahead of a 0. Seeming to be a little bit quicker in Sector 1. I'm not getting sector times on the race feed. Both drivers quite cautious coming up along that section. Bring up the speedo. As you can see, the red line is brake pedal and green is the throttle. Mr. D-Train has just passed Mersey Blue on Conrod. Under a lot more heavy braking coming into the chase, as he had a lot more speed after having that advantage to be able to pass Mersey using the slipstream on Conrod. Oh, Mersey Blue slightly offline, nearly putting it into that monster wall. Colby currently sitting 6 seconds behind our race leader. We're 5 laps in. Under a third of the way through this race. Darksider showing some good form at the moment. The cars have separated a bit. We'll bring up the timings and see their current laps. The fastest laps so far, a 2:02.526 going to Darksider. His last lap a 2:03.123, Corby a 2:03.823. The rest of the field a few seconds off that pace. You can see why Darksider is starting to put that lead slightly further each lap. He's half a second quicker each lap currently over Corby. Skiddy currently, it's almost just 17 seconds behind the race leader. There's 10 seconds to try and gain on Corby. Here's someone revving it up. Looks like someone has gone off in the chase. Looks like, I think, Rojo Gresh heading into the pits. Yes, that's Rojo Gresh. He must have spun out in the chase, taking some damage. And 0 starting to keep that pace slightly behind Skiddy. He seems to make up a couple of seconds in this sector and then starts to fade away on the rest of them. D-Train honing in on a 0 at the moment. So on lap 6 we could start seeing our race leaders potentially head into the pits over the next few laps. D-Train, a couple of seconds to make up. Very quick down through the dipper. That was a very nice line. Mosey Blue's car looking quite tidy. Doesn't look like he's had any scrapes from looks of things. And just got D-Train closing in on a 0 quite quickly now. The 0's closed in that gap on Skiddy again. Clean and consistent is what is definitely needed for these longer races for sure. Fritz Scania heading into the pits, now serving his mandatory. D-Train looking to make an inside pass coming up off the mountain straight. He gets in nice and tidy in front of the 0. Both holding a nice line. Almost a bit of a lock up by a 0. I think D-Train is starting to get ahead on a 0. And D-Train quickly closing in on Skiddy as well. D-Train looking to try and climb back up the ladder quite quickly. Pit strategy could see him potentially be able to get back up into first position. A little bit wide, that's cost him probably half a second. He'll also try and get as close to Skid as he can along Conrod. But then be aware of the extra braking he'll need to apply. So he gets that car 5 kilometres quicker. It's got to be on the brakes a bit earlier. That's a nice line down into the chase. Flat foot all the way through. Oh, we've just had a 0 go off. Looks like we have lost another driver. Someone may have retired. I'm not sure who it is. I think we may have D-Train past Skiddy on this lap. Just about halfway through the race. Oh, wall contact by Skiddy. Can D-Train get through nice and cleanly? I don't think Skiddy has taken too much damage. Marginal damage done to the car. It did cost him a position to D-Train. D-Train now moves up into third position. The race leader now having almost 11 seconds over second place. Waiting to see. We had Fritz Skinner in the pits just before. We saw about 17 seconds for a pit stop. So he has 10 seconds. I think Corby will be able to get ahead, but then Corby does need to pit. He's going to take that opportunity as well. Who will be quicker? Where's his crew? Got his guys there. In he goes. Let's see who can be quicker here. Mr. D-Train having the opportunity now to take the lead of the race. Also Skitty doing the same. Darksider's out nice and quick. Bit more work being done to Corby's car. So D-Train now takes the lead in the race. Needs to be able to put a fair bit of time over the rest of the field, as when he does head in for his pit, he needs to be able to make up for that time. A bit broad for Fritz in the chase. He was just right up close with Psycho. Did the car reset there? A bruised and battered car for Psycho, but that would be performing all to full specs at this stage. Just does not refresh the car after being in the pits. Skitty not backing away from Mr. D-Train. He's actually closing in on time. See who's quicker going down the mountain. Definitely Skitty quicker going down the mountain. Saved 0.2 of a second off going down the mountain over Mr. D-Train, but he is showing some aero damage to the front of that car. So he's going to have a speed disadvantage going down, so he needs to be able to tuck in behind. Ooh, heavy brake. Locking that rear left up. That could have put him into a spin. Skitty's very closing in quite quickly. I don't think he'll have enough to be able to manage to pass D-Train at this stage. He can use his wounded car to the advantage of the slipstream from D-Train. So Mersey Blue heading in for his mandatory pit. Seen a Zero, Darksider head in. We're waiting on Skitty and Mr. D-Train to make their mandatory pits. 7 laps remain. If you're joining us for our stream, be sure to hit that follow button. Trying to grow our channel to our next milestone of 50. Oh, some hard wall contact there for Skitty. It didn't put his car off too much. And almost again. I think Skitty will definitely need to get that car into the pits this lap. Definitely a bit of a struggle with the car's performance at this stage. Not sure if D-Train will pit just yet. Darksider is closing in very quick, as you said, Gal. And he has got a nice fresh car and done his pit. D-Train pit now. Looks like he is. Yes, bringing in. Will Skitty follow suit? Yes, Skitty follows suit. So that allows Darksider to now be able to get in. Hit those brakes. We don't want to be getting any penalties for speeding in pit lane. 6 laps remaining, and with how Darkside has been driving so far in this race, I think it is quite strong that he will actually take the win for second race for round 1. He has a fair margin for error with 15 seconds for Colby following in behind in second position. Much similar gap that we saw in the first race as well, where we saw Mr. D-Train put just about 18 seconds, and that was over the course of 10 laps. Psycho just passing Skiddy. Skiddy just heading out of the pits. Plenty of battle scars still visual on most of the cars. Oh, looks like almost wall contact was going to happen. Skiddy looking for an opening and trying to force an error out of Psycho. Oh, and he's struggling with that car at the moment. That's put Skiddy a little bit off pace. He's then put it into the wall as well. He wasn't sure whether he should have tried to make a pass. With Psycho weaving as he did, it would not have been safe to try and pass, but to actually get on those anchors and bring it in and just see what happens. Skiddy making contact again back in there. Skiddy and Psycho. Oh, we've just had Fritz Skinner spin out on Forest Elbow. He's brought the car back around. 3 cars flying down Conrod. All significant speed increases here. They're all going to have to compensate. Slightly different line. Very tidy for all 3. Oh, Psycho doing an inside pass, not enough. Oh, he's nudged Mersey Blue. He's rectified the issue by letting Mersey Blue get ahead, but that did cost them both a position as Skiddy takes advantage to their little battle. Lucky for Psycho and Mersey Blue not taking any damage out of that little incident. We are our last race winner for a bit of wall contact. With 5 laps remaining, I don't think he can recover too much more in positions. He's 32 seconds behind the race leader and 17 seconds off second position. He'll definitely be able to secure himself a spot on the podium. Psycho making wall contact up through the cutting, and again 2 hits. It's going to be some drastic damage to that car. A little bit easier coming up ready for the skyline. We have Gito 23 and Azura contesting for position 8. A bit of a latency issue showing for Gito. We saw that in the first session as well. Zero taking a very wide line coming down the dipper. Ooh, almost a lock up by Zero coming into Forest Elbow. 23 definitely having an advantage to be able to potentially make a move on the chase. See him probably get to the 294 just about. Oh, definitely not a good spot to try and make a move coming down. Oh, both under brakes. 23 having an opportunity. Will he enter safely just in time? possibly be a slowdown there for Azura to follow as well. Fritziscania looking to pass Mersey Blue for 6th position. Mersey Blue going off wide in Hill Corner. That has slowed him down by half a second. Fritziscania now moves ahead into 6th position. 3 seconds off pace from Psycho. Mersey looking to pass again. Inside pass coming up through mountains. Oh, a little bit of contact. Not a passing opportunity there for Mersey Blue. Lap 13, Darksider sitting up front, all on his own. He's taken in a 2:01.611 for fastest lap of the race. His last lap a 2:02.824, still almost faster than most others' best times. Very fast pace still. When you are at the front with such a lead, you can start to get a little bit relaxed and your pace can get a little bit off par as you don't have anyone's reference. But Darksider not doing that currently. He seems very focused. So 3 laps remain. All drivers have done their mandatory pit. Corby also having a bit of a safety net with 17 seconds behind with Mr. D-Train. A little bit offline. 14 laps in with such a grueling track of Bathurst. Definitely some fatigue to be setting in on the drivers. Had Gitto closing in on Mersey Blue. Gitto coming out of Hill Corner slightly quicker than Mersey. Thanks, Gallen. Appreciate that. I'll see you on Thursday. Oh, Mersey Blue has spun out. Letting Azura get through. Oh, he's having some issues with his gears there. Trying to get it out of reverse. That's unfortunate for Mersey. He's fallen to the back of the field. He was doing quite well midfield for a good portion of the race. Not sure if he's taken too much damage. The car seems to be doing all right. So we'll make our way back up through the field to Azura. He's 5 seconds behind Gitto 23. Gitto 23, 3 seconds behind 6th position with Fritziscania. And we've got 7 seconds ahead of him with Psycho. A significantly battle damaged car. Bit of a lock up there coming into the last corner. Onto pit straight. 10 seconds ahead of Psycho is Skiddy. T14 with respective car number as well. And he has 13 seconds ahead of him, Mr. D-Train, our last race winner. He definitely should be safe in this spot for a podium finish, unless something drastic goes on for Mr. D-Train. 17 seconds ahead of him is Corby. Oh, I thought Corby might have been going off into the pits there. Slightly offline. Oh, going off wide. Does have that little buffer of time behind him. And then our race leader, Darksider, who's had a brilliant drive this race. Lap 16. Also still with the fastest time of 2:01.611. His pace has dropped off a little bit. So Corby being 2 seconds quicker than him. And also D-Train as well. With 2 laps remaining, he can afford to relax a little bit and let that pace drop off. He doesn't want to risk a mistake that could see him significantly damage that car and end his chance at a victory. Just getting a little bit offline coming into the chase. He's closing in on Gitto. Half a second off. I can hear someone spinning out. That looks like that was Azura. Oh, and he's just put it into the wall. No, that's Psycho. Psycho's binned it at the end. Oh, what's he done with the car? I'm not sure. The camera is spinning it around, bringing it into the pits. Don't speed into the pits, or it'll be a DQ for Psycho. He had that happen to him in the Ferrari 488 Challenge Series. So no additional time penalty there for Psycho. And if you enjoy the racing here, some of the drivers here, oh, some bit of a spin out, putting that hard hit on that left side. We do also have the Ferrari Series 488 Challenge. It started last Thursday. Round 2 is on this Thursday night. It is also broadcast. Some great cars to race. Hoping some of our newer drivers that joined us tonight can also join in for that race. We're on our last lap. The field has split out. We're going to jump on board for a victory lap. Oh, Bertie is disconnected. He did hang around with us for a good while. Rojo Gresh also left the session. Be sure to hit our follow button, head to our YouTube channel afterwards, hit the subscribe there so you can check out all our past broadcasts, be able to catch last week's Ferrari Series first round races as well. And of course, if you hit that Twitch follow button, we'll be back next Tuesday night, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, for round 2 of the V8 Supercars Bathurst Challenge. There will be a wet main race. With mandatory pits, we'll be seeing possibly a couple of pit stops. Drivers will need to be able to work out what the best strategy is to handle the wet conditions. Darksider taking it slightly easy for his last lap. Brilliant driving, Darksider. Congratulations. Mosey Blue moving over for the blue flag for Darksider, giving the flash. He has taken the win. Mosey Blue there just finishing in behind him as for last laps. Corby coming in behind 8 seconds behind the race winner, taking a spot on the podium as second place. Congratulations, Corby. D-Train Barbado coming in for his podium finish with a third place. Still strong points for him with taking pole and race win and fastest lap in the first section of our series tonight. Crosses in third, Skiddy coming up in fourth. comes taking a 4th position. Well done to Skitty. 57 seconds remain. Well done to Giddo, 23. Taking 5th position. Looked like he's going to do a slide across the finish line. Oh, Fritziskini and Azura competing to try and take it right at the finish line. Both crossing 6th and 7th. Race is done. And there we have it. Round 1 of the V8 Supercars Bathurst Challenge concluded. We had a couple of drivers with some disconnect issues earlier on. Looks like Psycho may have dropped out right at the end as well with that accident right at the finish. So Darksider taking the win for 17 laps and also securing the fastest lap, so bonus points going to him for this race as well. On the podium in 2nd place, Corby 387, 3rd place Mr. D-Train Barbado. Brilliant driving by our top 3 and the rest of the field as well. That was some very exciting racing to see for sure. So 8 drivers finishing off there. Hopefully we'll get a much larger field for our next round. So we head off to round 2 next Tuesday night, same time as tonight's round. We will have different conditions. It'll be 2 races again in the same format, a sprint race and a main race, and then that will see some wet in the main race. So be sure to check that out. Hit that follow button so you can make sure you keep up with the series. Head to our Facebook page as well. There are the links down on our social media stuff under the Twitch there. It's facebook.com/Apex Esports League. And then if you want to get in on our racing, you can actually also click our group button from that page, but you can also just follow our page there to keep up to date with your favourite drivers of how they're performing in the championships. And then this Thursday night, same time, 7:30, is round 2 of the Ferrari Series 488 Challenge. Be sure to check that out as well, and you can always see our past broadcasts. So thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow and subscribe, and hopefully see you trackside next time. Cheers.